Okay, now that we completed 100%, what I'm gonna do is go to my select menu and go into my Folio Universitas and then read off all the wizard cards in each section. So I'm not really gonna cut this. I will read it off for myself, but if you want to skip this, then you can skip to wherever I finish reading off the wizard cards. However, it is best to know all your witches and wizards. So why don't we read off the first wizard cards from the witches section. Okay, the first one is Morgan Le Fay, medieval, dates unknown. King Arthur's half-sister, dark sorceress, enemy of Merlin. Yeah, as you all know from Sorcerer's Stone PS1. Which should be easy to remember. And then you can press X to view a picture of her. That doesn't look like a thing like Morgan Le Fay. You can press triangle to go back. And now the next card is Queen Maeve, legendary witch who trained young sorcerers in Ireland prior to the establishment of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Must be nice to teach young sorcerers in Ireland. If Hogwarts did get students from Ireland. And this is a picture of her. Next one is Ignatia Wildsmith, 1227 to 1320, the witch who invented flute powder, which you can get from any place from the fireplace. And this is her right here. Next up is Beatrix Bloxham, 1794 to 1810. She really lived for a short while. Author of Toadstool Tales, a series of children's books since banned because they have been found to cause nausea and vomiting. Well, I wouldn't want to read a book that causes nausea and vomiting. I hate vomiting. There's a picture of her right here. And the last card in the witches section is Gunhilda of Gorsmore, 1556 to 1639. One-eyed humpbacked witch famous for developing a cure for dragonpox. If only she was around for today, she can invent a cure, develop a cure for coronavirus. Then there would have been a lot of cases. And this is Gunhilda of Gorsmore right here, where there's a statue of Gunhilda of Gorsmore on the 3rd floor. Okay, that's all for the witches section. Next up is the wizards. First wizard is Merlin, medieval, dates unknown. Most famous wizard of all time, sometimes known as the Prince of the Enchanters, part of the court of King Arthur. So yeah, one of the famous wizards of all time in the medieval times. And that's a picture of him. Next up is Glenmore Peaks, 1677 to 1761. Famous slayer of the sea serpent of Cromer. Well, if he can only be in the anime Demon Slayer. even though he doesn't look like could be in an anime, as he's Glenmore Peaks. Well, we do see a portrait of Glenmore Peaks in the 6th floor corridor. Next up is Herbo the Foul, ancient Greek, first known creator of the basilisk, where we do see the basilisk in Chamber of Secrets. As that's him right here, releasing a snake. Next up is Edgar Stroger, 1703 to 1798, inventor of the sneakoscope. And that's him right there inventing the sneakoscope. Well, with the sneakoscope actually. And the last wizard card in the wizard section is Albus Dumbledore, currently headmaster of Hogwarts. And that's him right here. The current famous wizard of all time. That's all for the wizard section. And also I forgot to tell you, there are some cards that are not the same from the Chamber of Secrets or Sorcerer's Stone, as there are different cards this time around. And also, there's no Harry Potter wizard card. So yeah, we are now onto vampires. First vampire is Lady Carmilla Sanguina, 1561 to 1757, bathed in the blood of her victims to retain her youthful beauty. Why would you want to bathe in blood of victims? That just doesn't seem right. And that's her right there. Next up is Amarillo Lestoet, 1776 to 1977. Flamboyant American vampire, author of A Vampire's Monologue, intended to bore the reader into a stupor, making him/her easier prey for vampires. Well, I am not going to be bored into a stupor, so I can be an easy prey for vampires. And that's him right there. Next up is Sir Herbert Varney, 1858 to 1889, short-lived by undead standards, Victorian vampire who preyed upon women in London during the 1880s, was subsequently captured and killed by a special squad from the Department for the Regulation and Control of Magical Creatures. Ain't that interesting? That's why it was short-lived. And that's him right there with a top hat. Next up is Bloodwind Blood, 1923 to unknown. Known as a vampire from the valleys, famous for singing to his victims in a sonorous bass baritone before biting their necks. That's what vampires usually do. That's him right there, singing to his victims. Next up is Count Vlad Dracul, 1390 to unknown. Notorious vampire who inspired the fictional Count Dracula, created by Bram Stoker, father of Vlad the Impaler. Well, if he was notorious, then never mind. He was just inspired by a fictional Count Dracula. And that's him right there. Alright, next up is going to be goblins. Like the first goblin is Urgit the Ugly, goblin representative at 24th Century Summit of Wizards Council. Okay then, and this is him right there. Next up is Algeth the Awful, foul-smelling goblin nuisance, well known throughout the goblin world for trying to sell vials of his sweat to a dung bomb manufacturer. Well, okay then. No wonder why he was foul-smelling. 'Cause he smelled awful. That's him right there. Next up is Ugg the Unreliable, notorious goblin confidence trickster. Organized the infamous Demiguise Derby in Absunded with the takings. That's him right there, and must have been that infamous of a trickster. Next up is Urg the Unclean, rebel leader in the 18th century goblin rebellions. Now he's a rebel goblin with a sword on his hand. Last but not least is Gringotts, founder of Gringotts Wizard Bank. If it wasn't for him, a wizard bank wouldn't have been around, as that's him right there. That's it for goblins, and next up is hags. First off is Baba Yaga, medieval, dates unknown. Russian hag who dwelled in a hut that stood on giant chicken legs, ate children for breakfast and presumably for lunch and tea. I'd known about Baba Yaga since I was a kid. Didn't know there would be a wizard card of Baba Yaga in Prisoner of Azkaban. However, now I don't talk about anything Russian since I am from Ukraine. Anyway, this is a picture of Baba Yaga on the wizard card right here. Next up is Malador Grim, medieval, dates unknown. Using a beautification potion to conceal her true hag form, she married a king and used a charmed mirror to reinforce her self-image. Became jealous of the most beautiful girl in the land and fed her a poisoned apple. Sounds something like Snow White, even though that movie was from the 1930s. Or it could be something different, as here is her carrying a poisonous apple. Next up is Letitia Somnolens, medieval, dates unknown. This spiteful hag was jealous of the king's daughter and caused her to prick her finger on a spindle tainted with a draught of the living dead. A young wizard who had smeared his lips with a Wiggenweld potion kissed the princess and brought her out of her trance. Well, okay then. And that's her right there. Old Mother Hubbard, medieval, dates unknown, lured stray animals into her home and starved them to death. Well, that seems like animal cruelty right there. That's her right here. Last up is Cordelia Misericordia, 1298 to 1401. Hag representative at 14th century summit of Wizards Council. And she's the leader of all hags. That's her right there. Alright, let's see what's next up. Complete all the hags, I believe. Yeah, it's all the hags, and now up next is giants. First giant is Bran the Bloodthirsty. Medieval, dates unknown. Lived in a castle on top of an enchanted beanstalk. Apparently fond of eating bread made with ground bones and washed down with the blood of an Englishman. Was slain by a boy named Jack. As what you've heard in Jack of the Beanstalk, or Jack in the Beanstalk. I don't remember his exact name, but here's what he is. Next up is Cyclops, ancient Greece, dates unknown. A one-eyed giant who lived in a cave at the foot of Mount Etna. With the help of several sheep, was slain by the Greek hero Odysseus. Which was known for a Iliad and the Odysseus, I think. As here's Cyclops right here. Next up is Goliath. Biblical. Dates unknown. Mercenary giant used by the Philistines in their war with the Israelites. Was slain by a young boy with a slingshot. Even though that's not how you slay giants right now, even though there are no giants, they're just mythical creatures. As that's Goliath right there. Next up is Morholt, ancient Celtic, dates unknown. Gigantic brother of the King of Ireland, wounded Tristan, the Celtic hero, with a poisoned sword when the latter tried to kill him. Ancient Celtic, not what you see a lot in Harry Potter. However, there's him right there. And here's Hengist of Upper Bronton, 15th century giant killed by the famous giant slayer Gifford Allerton. Gifford Allerton must have been a hero, and that's a giant right there. Alright, we just have 4 more sections to go. Next up is dragons. Common Welsh green dragon. This breed is among the least troublesome of dragons and actively avoids humans unless provoked. Fire is issued in thin jets. Don't have a lot to say about dragons, but this is a troublesome of dragons and avoids humans unless provoked. As that's a dragon right there. Next up is a breeding black dragon. Britain's other native dragon is more aggressive than its Welsh counterpart and feeds mostly on deer, though it has been known to carry off large dogs. More aggressive than its Welsh counterpart, feeds mostly on deer. Okay then. Here's another dragon right here. Next up is Hungarian Horntail Dragon. Supposedly the most dangerous of all dragon breeds. The Hungarian Horntail can breathe fire up to 50 feet. That's, I think, third to half the size of a football field. That's a Hungarian Horntail Dragon. Next up is Romanian Longhorn Dragon. The horns of this breed of dragon are highly valued as potion ingredients, and as a result, its numbers have fallen in recent years. While they are highly valued as potion ingredients, well, we don't teach those in potions class. That's a dragon right here. Last up is the Norwegian Ridgeback dragon. The Ridgeback is nowadays one of the rarer dragon breeds and had been known to attack most kinds of large land mammal. That's a dragon that Hagrid had in Sorcerer's Stone, even though he was not allowed to have a dragon at Hogwarts. And that's a dragon right here. Alright, that's it for dragons. Now 3 more sections left. Next up is beasts. Here's a beast, which is an imp, found only in Britain and Ireland. The imp has a slapstick sense of humor and will amuse itself by pushing and tripping on the unwary. Well, you do see imps in Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets but not in Prisoner of Azkaban, but they are mentioned as a wizard card. As here's the imp right here. Troublesome creatures, huh? Next up is a doxy, sometimes mistaken for a fairy. Nests in bushes and if approached will attempt to bite with its double rows of sharp venomous teeth, which is why an antidote to uncommon poisons must be taken after you get bitten. That's a doxy right there. Next up is a bowtruckle, a tree guardian adept at dodging most kinds of charms. May attempt to gouge out your eyes if you approach its tree home in a threatening manner. Bowtruckles are harmless, but they will attack you if you threaten them its tree home. Is that what we saw in Sorcerer's Stone while collecting potion ingredients? That's a bowtruckle right there. Next up is Billywig. Has a long, thin sting that causes giddiness followed by levitation. Dried billywig stings are used in a variety of potions. That's what we get in potions ingredients in this game. That's a billywig right here. Last but not least is a gnome, a common garden pest. The gnome lurks in holes in the ground and may run out and attempt to trip up the unwary traveler. It can be ejected from the garden by swinging it in circles and flinging it over the garden wall. And they look like potatoes on legs, as that's a gnome right there. That's it for beasts, and now it's classical beasts. First up is a giant squid. The bane of ancient mariners and students at Hogwarts, should the latter decide to go for a dip in the lake. Giant squid is what you see in the deep sea. And here's a giant squid right here. And they're the bane of ancient mariners and students at Hogwarts. Well, you most likely don't see them in the Hogwarts lake. Next up is Manticore. A rare dangerous beast, the Manticore has been known to sing softly as it eats its prey. Its sting will kill instantaneously. Well, of course it's dangerous. Looks like a lion and a scorpion combined. Next up is a unicorn. The unicorn is a shy creature and generally avoids human contact. It is more likely to let a witch come near it than a wizard, and casting magic spells may frighten it off. Its blood has highly magical properties. Well, a unicorn is a mythical creature that you don't see a lot. Well, you actually don't see in real life. However, you do see it in Sorcerer's Stone, where someone was drinking unicorn blood off of it, which of course happens to be the dark hooded figure. Here's a unicorn right here. Next up is a mountain troll. Frequents mountainous regions. Very powerful, but stupid. The troll will attempt to bludgeon anyone who comes near it. That's what you want to avoid. A mountain troll, as security trolls are different, as they were guarding off the fat lady from Sirius Black. And we didn't get introduced to the mountain troll in Sorcerer's Stone. Our last but not least is a phoenix, a gentle creature. The phoenix lives to an immense age because it can regenerate each time it bursts into flames. Phoenix song is magical and its tears have healing properties. So what you all should know from the Chamber of Secrets. And Professor Dumbledore did have a pet phoenix named Fox. As here's a phoenix right here. Okay, last but not least is Quidditch. Like the first Quidditch wizard card is Cyprian Yaddle, 1312 to 1357. Only Quidditch referee to be killed during a match. The originator of the curse was never caught but believed to have been a member of the crowd. Well, the member of the crowd has been banned for life. As that's Cyprian Yaddle right here. Next up is Jocelyn Wadcock, 1911 to present. Chaser for Puddlemere United Quidditch team. Record for highest number of goals during British season this century against Ballycastle Bats, 1931. Highest number of goals, you say? Well, okay then. That's Jocelyn Wadcock right here. You don't tell me how many goals she scored. Next up is Leopoldina Smethwick, 1829 to 1910. First British witch to referee a Quidditch match. Well, now we see referees, well, witches as referees in Quidditch match nowadays. That's her right here. Next up, my personal favorite, Roderick Plumpton, 1889 to 1987. Seeker for English Quidditch team. Holds British record for fastest capture snitch during game. 3.5 seconds. Well, wait to finish it that fast for those who have been paying good seats to watch a Quidditch game. And then it took 3.5 seconds for him to catch a snitch. As that's Roderick Plumpton right here. And then there's the last card that we're ever going to view in this game. Barbara Spragg. Introduced the Golden Snitchet into Quidditch in 1269. Changing the face of the game forever. So he invented the Golden Snitch. Or the Golden Snitchet. No, wait, he didn't invent the Golden Snitch, he introduced it in Quidditch, changing the face of the game forever. Okay, so that's all the wizard cards. Too bad there isn't a Harry Potter card. And all the wizard cards are different this time around. Yeah, they're different this time around, unlike in Chamber of Secrets and Sorcerer's Stone. That is all the wizard cards that we have to view, and now we can go back. We even got everything in the Folio Brutai page. All 16 of them. And everything from the statue list. As we don't really need to view everything else, now that we're done with this game. Alright now. Now before we go to Professor Dumbledore, well, first off, why don't we go to this Gryffindor prefect.
The house with the most points at the end of the year will win the House Cup, but I suppose you already know that. Gryffindor is in the lead. We're sure to win.
Yeah, of course we are sure to win it. However, before we go to Professor Dumbledore, let me just save this game so I have my progress saved. We go to save game, which is the last day of the term right here in this save slot. And now save is complete. So now we can go up to Professor Dumbledore. Let me just double check to see how many points we have. We should have 500 points. Yep. We are sure to win the House Cup. So now let's go up to Professor Dumbledore, shall we?
And now we reach the end of another eventful school year together. So, for their loyalty, courage, and their significant contributions to the school, it gives me great pleasure to award the House Cup to Gryffindor.
There are Gryffindor cheers. They won the House Cup, and the banners get changed to Gryffindor. And there's a look on Malfoy's face again, and Harry seems very happy to win the House Cup 3rd year in a row. Alright, now that we've won the House Cup, we get sent back to the start menu, as we are still not done yet. Why is that, you may ask? Well, I just want to show you some bonus activities and some after school games. Well, we're not going to play any after school games, but I just want to show you what they are. So for bonus activities, here are the mini games. Let me show you what these mini games are. It's the same one as the ones in the game. You can either choose to do them right now, or you can either choose them to do it in the game or in the start menu from mini games. But we're not going to even play those since we've already got at least an A in all of them. And now we're going to check the gallery. So over here are the galleries such as the Slytherin Gang, Draco Malfoy, a dragon, Albus Dumbledore. Who is that? Nearly Headless Nick? No. Professor Flitwick, Flying Seahorses, Fred and George Weasley, the Ghoul, a Ghost, Goblin, Gunhild of Gorsmore, Harry Potter, Hermione, the Hufflepuff Gang, one of the mini-bosses, Professor Lupin, Professor McGonagall. Oh, here's Nearly Headless Nick. We don't see him in this game. A Gryffindor student, Peeves, Peter Pettigrew, Pixies, the Hufflepuff student, no, Ravenclaw students, Ron Weasley, I think that's Seamus Finnegan. Here's Sirius Black, the Slytherin Gang, Professor Snape, a Mountain Troll, an Animagus, and I guess that's it. That's all the concept art in the gallery. And now here's a trailer to the movie of Prisoner of Azkaban. This is gonna be my first time viewing a trailer in a Harry Potter walkthrough. On June 4th, even though that was 19 years ago, something wicked this way comes.
Welcome, welcome to another year at Hogwarts.
Sirius Black has escaped from Azkaban prison. Swear to me, you won't go looking for Black.
Why would I go looking for someone who wants to kill me?
Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Summer 2004. Well, summer 2004 was about 19 years ago. And I was in 3rd grade when the movie was released. I was 9 years old. Now last but not least is the credits. Like you can toggle L2 or R2 to go through the credits. See here are a bunch of people who did some work on this game. That's a lot of work on this game. I'm just gonna skim through it. Yeah, it's a lot of work on this game by a lot of people and developers and voice actors. As a narrator is also Stephen Fry, who I think is a narrator from the British version or the international version of Chamber of Secrets, and Sorcerer's Stone as well, I believe. And he's a narrator for the American version of Prisoner of Azkaban as well. And there's also this game which is localized in other languages. It's a lot of work on this game. Sure is a lot of work on this game. And a special thanks as well. Special thanks to everyone. And that's it with the credits. And also, that's it for the bonus activities. And for after school games, like, you do need an iToy USB camera for it. And I don't think those exist anymore. Like, maybe back in 2004 you can get one from Toys R Us. There's also Toys R Us is defunct right now. Although I've heard that it might be making a comeback, but let's just check to see what we have for after school games, even though I'm not going to play it. There's something like chocolate frog catching and gnome throwing. Yeah, like you do need an iToy USB camera for it. And then what could this be? Another version of Fruit Ninja, except it's Potion Ninja, or whatever it's called. And now here are wizard cards. Or like it's wizard card catching. And now it's golden cinch catching. And what else could this be? Dung bomb catching. That's a lot of after school games. And I guess that's it. And then what could be next? Well, we do start off with gnome throwing, however, I'm not going to show you all the games for it. These are the games that don't exist anymore. So first off, we do not have an iToy USB camera. An iToy USB camera for PlayStation 2 not detected. It is required to play these games, so we should insert it. Or you can press triangle to return to the main menu. Well, that's defunct right now, so we're not even going to bother. So let's go back to the main menu. Alright, so we are now back to the start menu, which is pretty much it for bonus activities and the demonstration of after school games. But now we should be done with this walkthrough, as this concludes my walkthrough for Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. So, as you all know, I will be taking a break from doing walkthroughs for about a couple of months or so, but I will let you guys know when I'm back. I should be back in around April or May to do a walkthrough of Uncharted Drake's Fortune on the PlayStation 5 and Blink's the Time Sweeper on the Xbox Series X. And like I said, I will be making some changes to my YouTube channel. And I will be adding in new content on my channel, where I'm going to drop the sports completely off of my channel and then I'm going to replace it with something new. So, yeah, I'm going to surprise you guys, and there will be a lot of changes on my channel. Anyway, it's been fun playing this game. I'll let you guys know when I'm going to do a walkthrough of Goblet of Fire. And stay tuned for my next two walkthroughs in the next couple of months or so. And stay tuned for my new content as well. So anyway, that should be it for my walkthrough, as I'll see you guys on my next project.